Hey guys, Bernardo Faria here. For who doesn't know me, I have been competing in Jiu-Jitsu for the last 17 years and I got great results in my career, and since like 3 years ago or so, I started sharing what I learned through DVDs, on-demand videos, YouTube channel and everything. And my biggest motivation to show everything that I learned, it's because when you do Jiu-Jitsu, I mean, like, there are a lot of techniques. Jiu-Jitsu can be very complex if you don't know how to filter what you are learning. And in my career, I try to focus only in the, like I would say, like easy moves, right? So when I'm passing the guard, I try to not go too complex. I try to focus on 1 or 2 moves only and go from there. When I'm playing on borrow, I try to not learn like 100 techniques. I try to focus on those that I feel it's gonna be easier for me to play. So Jiu-Jitsu can be very complex. So because the fact that I found this kind of system that works really well for me and it's simple, and that was my motivation to start putting out everything I learned. Because all my world titles that I got, that was 5 in the open class and this and that, was pretty much working those techniques, like not like 100 techniques. Was working for like 5 techniques or so. And I started hearing people saying that this type of game that I play helps a lot the older grappler, like the over 30 years old, over 35 years old, just because it's the type of game that you don't have to move too much. For example, many times when you are passing the guard, if you play like Nika, Toriano, you have to jump to one side, jump to the other side, move here, move there, and that can be hard, especially when you are getting old. Same thing when you are on borrow. For example, if you are on borrow and start playing spider guard, you gotta be flexible. You gotta have a lot of flexibility. If you try to do those beating blows and this and that, once again, you gotta be like a rubber. You gotta be like very flexible and go upside down and this and that. So, for example, when I'm on top, I play the over-under pass. It's a very simple pass that I'm gonna show here pretty much the principles. And when you are on borrow, when I'm on borrow, I try to play half, because once again, it's something that I just have to lock one of my opponent's legs and go from there. And I use the same concepts for submissions, for escapes, and this and that. That was my motivation to make all the DVDs, all the on-demand videos, the YouTube channel and everything. Because I really believe that this game can help you and can make your Jiu-Jitsu, can make like you learn Jiu-Jitsu easier. I have been doing seminars like almost every weekend. Like this year, I probably have done like over 30 seminars or so, and we're still September. And my seminar, I think I'm getting a lot of seminars as well, exactly because every seminar I go, it's people over 30, it's people over 35. So my game matches them. So that's like that's my biggest motivation to share all of this. And many times I go to seminars and people say, oh, I had a seminar with that other guy, was incredible, but those things I learned I can't apply. And this Jiu-Jitsu that I have been playing, it's very simple. I don't consider myself talented at all. I remember when I started Jiu-Jitsu, for example, I was not flexible at all, and I was probably like you, like I would get beat up every time. And then I just focus on those techniques, like when I was on top, pressure passing and over under. When I was on borrow, half guard, not like 100 submissions. I would focus like 3, 4, 5, and I think that's why I got to be successful, because I focus on certain techniques that's easy, that coincidence everybody gets to do. I didn't plan that. I didn't plan to build this easy game. It was something that just happened, and now I'm really taking advantage of that. Like I'm trying to share this with all of the world, and especially with the older grapplers. So this that I'm saying, like I have Michael here with me, one of my training partners. So for example, many times I see people passing the guard, and very effective ways as well, like doing Toriano, doing knee cut, doing this, doing that. But for example, many times you start doing knee cut and then the guy pushes, then you gotta walk back, you gotta do the Toriano here, then the person recovers to the other side. So the way I have been playing, it's kind of easier, because I just go, I get the over-under, I set up my position, and then I don't have to move anymore. I'm gonna let my opponent try to move, but I'm gonna stuck him here so well that it's gonna be hard for him to move. So look, he's gonna try to move to the side, move to the other side. and then I'm just gonna stay here. And then little by little, I'm gonna start putting my pressure, make him feel uncomfortable, stretch his leg down, walk to the mirror, jump his leg, all like little by little, being very patient. So we don't need like 100 variations, we don't need 100 details. Of course, it's good to understand everything that can happen. But it's a very effective and easy game. Same thing when I'm on board, for example. Many times I see people trying to play games on water, and then if we try to do the spider there, we gotta kind of have to be flexible, because you're gonna need to stretch his leg here, stretch the other leg there. Butterfly, it's one of the best games in my opinion in Jiu-Jitsu, but many times I see people struggling because I gotta use my both legs, use my both arms, handle here, break his grip there. So the reason I started doing half grip is because all I had to do was pretty much lock this leg and go from here, right? I would frame him, try to get the other hook. So it's kind of like an easy game to play. And that I think matches really well with the older guys. I try to use the same principle for my entire Jiu-Jitsu. For example, even my escapes. I don't try to do that very fancy escape. I try to do that escape that it's gonna match with my game. That's gonna bring me back to the over-under. It's gonna bring me back to the half-guard. I don't try to do that escape that I'm gonna roll 3 times, go here, go there, and then I'm gonna get to escape. Submissions, the same principle. I'm gonna try to use the submissions that are there for me. For example, I'm the over-under. I'm gonna try to do the knee bar from the over-under. Let me quick show here, like, that's one of my favorite submissions. I think in my last 30 matches, I got 15 with this one. So for example, I'm here applying the over-under pass, right? I go there and I do a knee bar from here that I call the invisible knee bar because people can barely see. So you guys can see that the knee bar comes from the over-under, right? So it's everything connected. So I try to make this easy game and simple game and connect them, right? So it makes it even easier. And so we're talking about escapes, talk about submissions, talk about half-guard, talk about pressure passing. And now it's just about how to connect them. So that's why I make all these DVDs, all these on-demand videos, because I really believe that if you watch them and if you understand them, it's gonna be easy to understand because the techniques are not hard. You can really build this game as well, the same way I did. Trust me, I was never talented in Jiu-Jitsu, never, never, never. And I remember that when I started Jiu-Jitsu, I couldn't stay like this. I didn't have the balance to stay in this position here. When we were both feet on the mat, stay like that, I would always fall and lose the balance. So I was not talented at all. Even my first instructor, Ricardo Marques, he said that I was one of the biggest surprises he had like in Jiu-Jitsu, because in the beginning he was not believing that I could become like a world champion and this and that. But of course I put a lot of dedication, put a lot of effort, I train a lot, but I really believe that this easy game helped me a lot as well. And I would ask you now, if you have purchased one of my DVDs or if you have watched one of my videos, I would love to see in the comments what you think, what it has helped you, because many times I receive a lot of private messages and emails and this and that, and now I wish everybody could see that. I mean, like, because every time I receive a message like that, it makes my day, you know. Like, man, it's great to see someone who, especially when the guy is older, you know, because then I see like, man, this works. I'm glad this works, because many times if you was some very athletic and strong guy writes to me, oh, I started doing your game and it's working, we could say like, okay, man, you're crazy strong, you're heavy, this and that. But when I receive a message from a guy like 35, 40, 45 years old saying that he plays my game and he's fighting hard against the young guys, that he's being able to stop them, that makes my day. And it's happening a lot, and that's my motivation, like, to keep doing everything I'm doing, try to share this as much as possible. On my YouTube channel, for example, beside my game, I'm trying to share everybody's game. I'm trying to travel everywhere and bring the best Jiu-Jitsu there as possible. So I'm putting here below some of my products, and I hope you guys enjoy that. Thanks so much.